Ross. Here. Hamilton.
Here.
Hart. Here. Robinson.
Here.
Baxter.
Here.
Harris. Fowler.
Present.
Insulaco.
Present.
Have a quorum, sir.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance to prayer by Mr. John Barber. Thank you.
Chair.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, as we come before you in this new year, we just ask once again for your grace and your mercy to be poured out upon this city. We thank you for the leadership that you've given to us, and we pray that you would give them wisdom and grace this evening to make decisions for this city. And we thank you for the people who put their lives on the line for us each and every day, police and fire and electric department. We just pray that you would continue to watch over and protect them in Jesus' name. And all God's people said,
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second. There's a second.
Ross.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Baxter.
Yes.
Harris. Yes. Fowler.
Yes.
Insulaco.
Yes.
Thank you. Everybody, let's go communication. Anybody like to pull one? If not, I'll accept a second to accept and file. Motion?
Move to accept and file.
Second.
Oh, and there's a second.
Ross.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Baxter.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Insulaco.
Yes.
Thank you. Presentations tonight, I got Ms. Robinson on the phone. Linda, if you want to start it, then I'll turn over to Ms. Ross, please.
Okay. Margaret, I am sorry I'm not able to be there tonight in person, but it has been a joy working with you over the years. And I want you to know, Margaret, that I appreciate your dedication and your commitment to the city of North Little Rock, and especially to our CARES group. And I hope that you will continue to work with our CARES group because you are a valued member. Councilmember Ross.
Margaret, why don't you do me a favor, if you don't mind? Why don't you come up to the mic so everybody can see and hear you, if you don't mind, please, ma'am? Ms. Ross?
All right, Margaret, I'm making some notes today, and everything that I would write down, it came up your connections. So you're officially a connector. I started thinking about the different things and the ways that you connect with our sister cities. You've made so many connections, not just within the city, but around the world. And we appreciate that so much. I mean, those are lasting memories for the families and the children that have grown up. And, you know, there's a lot bigger world out there than just North Little Rock.
Yeah.
And you were great. I appreciate all that. The business groups. At one time, we didn't have business groups, and Margaret, you took that on with our business groups. We've got a couple of people here from the business group. If y'all want to come up here too, just for a second. Yeah. We've got Josh from the Rose City Business Association and Peggy Hogg from the Park Hill Neighborhood Association. It was with Levy Neighborhood Association. And this is one of the things, when the business groups got together, it's amazing what you can do when you form a group. You know, I had a business, would have loved to have had that back in the day. But anyway, Peggy, I don't know if you want to just say a little bit or something about the business group?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm Peggy Hogg, and I had the opportunity about 14 years ago to meet Margaret Powell. She came in and said, I need your help with something, and pulled me into what ended up being the Levy Business Association and the Park Hill Business Association. I can't say enough good words about her. She put everything she had into making sure that we got those business associations up and running, coming to all the meetings, and becoming friends of all of ours. So I appreciate her so much.
Well,
There's one other thing too, that different projects that you worked on, the census. I know how hard you worked on the census. That was,
you worked with us.
well, yes. Margaret was really good about drawing people in, like you said. You know, one time I was like, okay, she like little Tom Sawyer here or something, you know. I don't know, but Margaret could always get the volunteers. And that was one thing with the census, how many volunteers you brought throughout North Little Rock in. I mean, from all walks of life on the census to accomplish that. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to talk to Margaret. Yeah, Josh, if you want to say anything about the Rose City Group?
Well, I just want to point out just how awesome Margaret is. Last night I was sitting with my family and I was watching the movie Greater about Brandon Burlsworth. And there's a point in that film where they're talking about how he's gone and everybody's sad. And the response was, well, weren't we privileged to just known someone that special? And that's what comes to mind when I think about Margaret. Just a great mentor to me and just a very, very special person. And I am privileged to have known her.
One other thing, Margaret, too, I know 28 years, that's a long time, but with your connections, and I know that you're going to still be connecting, you've got your friends here with you. I hope you and your friends go have the most fun ever. I know y'all have a lot of fun, but making those connections. But anyway, we appreciate everything you've done for North Little Rock for 28 years, and we have a plaque for you here. Well, it's not plaque. I don't know if it's called a plaque or what, but anyway, it's very pretty. And this says, a special thanks to Margaret Powell for your 28 years of service, dedication, and love of the city of North Little Rock. And we appreciate everything you did. And I brought you one of my city council coins that we get very, very few. But anyway, but thank you, Margaret. We appreciate you.
I'm used to making the presentations, not receiving one, so thank you very much. I want to thank you, Mayor, for the 4 years that we've had together. I want to thank the City Council, most of whom I know really well, and 2 new ones. I look forward to getting to know you. I've been with the city for 28 years this time, and as I was looking back, I actually started in 1976 with the Bicentennial Program. Diane, you remember the American Freedom Train? I was privileged to get to work on that and worked for the North Little Rock Advertising Promotion Commission. I was the director of that for a short period of time. And so I've had a lot of stints with the city, none ever this long and never this thoroughly delightful. I'm really here tonight because I wanted to say thank you. I want to thank the City Council for supporting all the programs, all the fun and all the educational things that I've been entitled to take charge of. And I want to thank all of the city employees, because the city employees, in my mind, ever since I started back in 1976, always felt like the city employees were people who I loved very much. I loved to talk to them. I loved to wave to them. I see them all over town. And it's just like we really are truly a big family. And I have been privileged to be in that position. I've been privileged to be Director of Community Relations, which when Joe Smith decided to leave the city for a short period of time and then came back in a big way, I was able to do the things that he told me. I said, Joe, I've got a new job now with the city. What do I do? And he said, whatever walks in the door. And that's what happened. Whatever walked in the door, basically, was the way that I got my start. I want to introduce my family. I had no idea some of my family was coming. I knew my son, Chris ended up. I knew Chris was coming. I did not know that my daughter, Laura, and Jennifer were coming. And I was so surprised. They mean so much to me, as do the Smitex. Where is Shannon, by the way? She's not going to be able to make it. Okay, well, Shannon works for the airport. Tom is her wonderful husband and my fix-it man. He comes anytime I ever need him. Morgan is my granddaughter, who drove in all the way from Alabama, and her little boy, Dallas.
Wow.
I just was so surprised. I had no idea they were coming, so I just had to say hello to them. I want to say thank you to Raul Fernandez for coming, and my friend Claire Hahn, my friend Celia Thompson, my wonderful cohort with the CARES Coalition, who I've gotten to know and really appreciate a lot, Daryl Montgomery. There are so many projects that I've had the opportunity to lead and then others to be involved in. And I love all of that. I like to be the leader, and then I like to be the follower. It's just been a really good mix of projects for me. And I'm going to miss everybody every day, but I do plan to stay involved. And I will be, Linda, if you're still listening, I do plan to stay with the North Little Rock Cares Coalition, if you'll let me.
Oh,
And-
yes.
Okay. I wouldn't leave you for the world. And I
Thank
will
you.
be joining the chamber and becoming, involved in some areas that I still really love. Amy, I'll miss you. I miss your smile and miss seeing everybody in City Hall. But I do have a lot of things actually that I need to be taking care of at my home. I've given up a lot of holidays with my family to be here, so I didn't go over my vacation days, or maybe things were busy here and I wasn't able to go. So I've missed a lot of special occasions, and I hope to make up the difference with all of that. But I really am here to say thank you to the community. We've got the best volunteers and the most wonderful community members and city council members that I could have ever asked for. And I just thank you for the opportunities and the smiles and the help that all of you have been. And call me if you need me, because I'm still going to be around.
Thank you, Margaret. Appreciate you so very much. Y'all welcome to stay, or you can go. Margaret, were you going to stay? You going, huh? That's fair. I thought you might, so go ahead. Nice having y'all. Thank you. So good to see you again. Thank you. Claire, how you doing? Good seeing you. All right, if everybody want to pull anything from the consent agenda, if not, I'll ask for a voice of vote on an aye from the consent agenda. Anybody like to pull anything? If not, I'm looking for an aye. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So, any pros? None? So be it. That takes us, I think, all the way through to R2510, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
Yes, sir. This is new business.
And let's go ahead and, new business, R2510. That is a public hearing on, go ahead and read that one, and I'll call them one at a time, okay?
Yes, sir. R25-10, Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution certifying the amount of a cleanup lien to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real property located at 4517 Boyer Street.
With that, I need to call a public hearing on R2510. Those wishing to speak for or against R2510, please come to the mic. Those wishing to speak for or against, please come to the microphone. Seeing none, I will adjourn this public hearing. Read it.
Okay, we have a
For adoption.
motion.
Adopt.
Second.
Just a second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart? Yes. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
R25-11, Mayor Hartwick.
If you'll read it, I'll call a public hearing again.
Resolution certifying the amount of a cleanup lien to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real property located at 607 West 17th Street.
Again, I'm calling a public hearing. Those wishing to speak for or against R2511, please come to the microphone. Those wishing to speak for or against, please come to the mic. Seeing none, I'll adjourn the public hearing.
Move for adoption.
Motion, motion adopt, and second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart? Yes. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
R25-12, Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution certifying, or approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances and for other purposes.
Again, I need to call a public hearing on this one. There is a public hearing. Those wishing to speak for or against R2512, please come forward to the microphone. Seeing none, I'll adjourn the public hearing.
Move for adoption.
Motion adopt.
Second.
Just a second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart? Yes. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Moves to ordinances, sir.
Thank you.
O25-1, Councilmember Harris and Ross.
Let's call it.
Yes, sir. An ordinance amending ordinance number 9733, which approves the salary increases for elected officials excluding city council members of the city of North Little Rock, declaring an emergency, first reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
Motion suspended. Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Motion adopt.
Motion adopt.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
R2502, Councilmember Baxter.
Wouldn't that be an O? O 2502? I thought, okay, I thought so.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Please call it, and
Hold on a
without
minute.
objection, please add Councilmember Harris as a co-sponsor, please.
An ordinance waiving certain sections of Article 15 of the subdivision ordinance, ordinance number 7946 for certain real property located on Military Drive in the city of North Little Rock to waive half-street requirements, declaring emergency, first reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart? Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
O2503, Councilmember Robinson.
Please call it.
An ordinance rezoning certain property located at 4104 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock from R3 to C3 zoning classification by amending ordinance number 9263, declaring an emergency, first reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
All right, and I've got somebody who needs to comment on this, so let's go ahead and suspend the readings before we vote for it. I'll bring him up. Mr. Rogers?
I'm just here if the council has any questions.
Okay, well, we'll get to you then. Just hang on a sec. Okay, then suspend the rules. Is that where we are? Go ahead.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt. We just got it backwards.
You okay? You're okay, right? Yes, I'm good. Okay, fine. All right, motion adopted, and there was a second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
O2504, Mayor Hartwick for consideration only.
Please read it, and then I'll convene a public hearing.
Yes, sir. An ordinance granting a conditional use to allow minor auto repairs in the C3 zone for certain real property located at 3820 Lookout Road in the city of North Little Rock, declaring emergency, first reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Let's suspend them, then I'll call a public hearing.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to convene a public hearing to address O25-4. I have 4 people, looks like, here wanting to speak on it. Those wishing to speak for or against this public hearing, please come forward on this. Oh, this is public hearing. And when you come forward, identify yourself. Okay.
Can they put the pictures back up?
Put the picture back up in the back, showing this area, please. And identify yourself, sir, please, if you don't mind.
3 minutes.
I'm Tristan Blankenship. I'm here to represent Nick Kokoya.
Okay. You, go ahead.
All right, I'm here today to represent Mr. Kokoya in his endeavor to grow his business. He has been serving the people of North Little Rock, including many members of this very community, for over 21 years. Now, some of the opposition to this measure have characterized this project to be an expansion. I want to be clear that this is not an expansion. Mr. Koshkaya currently rents the building for which he does his current auto repairs, and he's looking to build his own building just a few hundred feet away from where he's currently operating. It's not an expansion, it is a relocation. I understand that there has been some opposition to the granting of this conditional use permit. I believe that most of the concerns expressed in this opposition come primarily from a misunderstanding. Truthfully, I've seen very little opposition for this conditional use permit from individuals that actually live in this community. I acknowledge that St. Episcopal Church has an appreciable number of its members that oppose this measure, but consider for a moment if the roles were reversed. If St. Episcopal was looking to move some of its facilities a few hundred feet up the hill, and Mr. Koshkaya had some of his customers who did not live in the community oppose the endeavor, dare I propose that strategy would not be a successful one. So why should it be persuasive in this case before us today? On the contrary, Ms. Koshkaya has spoken personally with many of the individuals that live and run businesses within this very community, and has respectfully earned their approval for this endeavor, as evidenced by the 20-something signatures that he has prepared for today's agenda. I want to be clear that the church's opposition to this endeavor has little to do with safety or noise. I will address those concerns as well if I have time, but the real reason for this opposition has to do with the vacant lot that sits behind the church. Representatives from the church realized long ago that very little could be done with the vacant land. When they realized that Mr. Koshkaya was planning on developing his own land, the church offered to sell him the vacant lot, and he didn't want it. They are pretending that his development of his own land will somehow burden the church's use of this vacant lot, and that could not be farther from the truth. The truth is that the church has a parking lot with direct access to the vacant lot. It is unclear to me why they believe that Mr. Koshkaya's planned development would have anything to do with their use or access to the vacant lot. I wish to address the health, safety, and noise concerns voiced by the opposition. First of all, these issues have already been reviewed by the Planning Board. The Planning Board has already approved Mr. Koshkaya's project, and that approval could not have been achieved without addressing these issues. Further, if Ms. Koshkaya were engaging in any of these activities that the church is concerned about, it would be a matter for which Mr. Koshkaya could be held criminally liable. Mr. Koshkaya has been operating at his existing location for 21 years, and not a single time has he received a complaint about health, safety, or noise. There's never been an issue involving runoff waste from Mr. Koshkaya's business, and arguably, the church has a much bigger parking lot with far more visitors.
Sir, I got to call this. Wrap this up for me, please, if you don't mind. I'll ask the aldermen council members to address some issues.
Well, I'd like to say that if we had, that was 3 minutes, and I think everybody should get 3 minutes. But then I'd also like to explain that if we have questions for you, we will be calling you back up. So I think, I just want to make sure everyone understands.
And I understand. I gave you more than 3 minutes. I apologize, but I thought it deserved some attention, okay? So stand by. I have another person that wants to speak. Looks like Mr. House.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Thank you so much. I don't have anything to add to the letter I wrote you a couple of months ago. You will notice from the documents that your code enforcement people, there's going to be tires, there's going to be major auto repairs, and there's going to be the use of hydraulic and air equipment. We are a 7-day-a-week church, counseling, AAA meetings, concerts, everything else. And for those machines to be going off while we're trying to operate a church is kind of towing the line. You can look at this picture and see how close it is, the church is, and where he's intending to go. It's also going to affect our neighbors, the residents just immediately behind that particular piece of property. I and the members of our congregation who are in leadership positions are able to answer any questions you may have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Council members.
Anybody else like to speak for or against this ordinance 25-4? If not, I'm going to convene this public hearing as adjourned. Yes, Ms. Ross.
Okay, if you look at this, at the photo.
Can we get a motion in a second? Have we had that yet to get it on the floor?
All right, I'm asking for, Ms. Fields asked for a motion and a second to get it on the floor.
Motion.
There's a motion, and there's a second to get it on the floor. Go ahead, Ms. Ross.
Okay, so when you see that, it almost looks like an arrow, and right where that arrow is pointing, those are all residents. There's a cul-de-sac right there, and this immediately backs up to their house. Any kind of runoff is going to be in their children's playground, in the backyard. So it's not just the church. I appreciate the church, and I know that they've been here planning. They've been here, the last meeting, they packed it out, and tonight with the ice and everything, they couldn't have as many here. But the last meeting that we had when this was on the agenda, it was packed. And the neighbors were here then too, but they were not able to make it tonight. But there hasn't been, and Nick, we haven't had any problems with that, but it's not as extensive a service, which is something that they can address, is what they're proposing here, if they would like to address that later. But I'm just advocating and very adamantly, these neighbors in that cul-de-sac are opposed to it in their backyard.
Anybody else? Mr. Hamilton?
When I went to, the property he's relocating to is actually further away from the church. When I measured it on pages, it's actually further away. I've had multiple discussions with both church members and Mr. Koskaya, and I know the church is against it, but I'm not persuaded because it's further away. Also, it's the same activity that he's doing now, and there have been no complaints in the past 20 years. If I could ask Mr. Former Representative House to come back up and address that concern I have. I don't want to deny the gentleman to relocate his business without good cause. And I understand the church is against it. But from my research, it appears that this is actually further away from the church, and that in the past 20 years, the church has not complained about the current business that he has on the corner.
Where is the business now? Where's it at?
Look to your far at the camp.
It's on JFK. It's
right there on JFK. It's
the corner. Yeah, it's on the corner there.
Right there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mr. House, you understand the question?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, go ahead, please.
The current zoning of that particular station up there on the corner, C1, the activities that are occurring at that location are within your code. The reason that this is here for an extra permit is because he chooses to expand his activities to include things like changing out tires, doing minor repairs, which are not going on at the current location. That necessitates the use of hydraulic equipment and air impact wrenches. If you've ever been around a tire shop and heard one of those machines break a tire, you know what I'm talking about. It's an explosion. That's not happening there now, but the reason he's seeking a permit is because those activities are in fact going to expand. As far as equidistant, it depends on what part of the property you measure. If you measure from the back of the church where we have activity and you measure from the front of the church, it's going to be about the same. But it is actually closer to those residential areas, and that is certainly a big concern to those people. You're going to have a runoff problem. They've already planned on digging a gravel pit behind there to catch some of the runoff water, but it's still going to go into those people's backyards.
Are there current laws that he's not allowed to have any runoff, correct?
No, he's actually, their engineering drawings show a pit filled with rock where the water will go and settle until it evaporates or settles into the ground. No, they're anticipating a runoff problem. It's in their planning documents.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Ross?
One other thing too, in this, the hours are from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. Now, if you want that behind your house at 6 a.m., 7 days a week, vote for it. But, I mean, mine always is do I want this by my house? Because your home is usually your largest investment you'll ever make in your life. And to these people, this is their largest investment, which will drastically reduce their property values.
We're still in a public hearing. Anybody else wishing to speak or ask questions? Yes, sir, you can come back up if you'd like. You got,
I think we closed the public
a
hearing.
public hearing was.
But I'd like to
All
ask
right,
Mr.
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Hang on just a sec, okay? I'll get right back to you. I'll let you address it, okay? So, Ms. Cole, Ms. Hart, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
make it green.
There we go. I did have a question about the gentleman coming
Yeah, he
up.
can come up now.
Did you say that you had signatures from constituents in the community that
Yes.
were for it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those, do those constituents live around
Yes,
where
ma'am.
this property?
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
any of them in the cul-de-sac that was mentioned by our city council member? The cul-de-sac that is supposed to be directly affected?
Did you understand the question?
Yeah.
Okay. And you do?
Can I-
Yeah,
can I-
please, answer.
Do you have anybody from East I Avenue?
No. I looked at it.
Oh, the EI, this.
They have some from H, which is up the hill
I
on the
understand.
other side of that
I've
large
saw it
shopping
myself,
center.
yeah.
Yeah, or I would consider Cedar as well, a little bit, but
There's one on Lookout, and he's at the other end of the street.
Yes, sir, you wanted to say something a while ago?
Yes, sir. Okay, the my shop, I'm doing the my shop basic service. I don't have any heavy duty making any noise, any hydraulic, any oil. I have to change the oil the car. I have the 455 the gallon the drum. All the time, I fill up all the drum. I call the oil company, come take the oil. I'm not using any drop the oil in my shop. Also, I'm working for the expensive car, only the handwork. I'm not using any machine, any noise. You can stay inside the office. I'm working in my workshop area. You can hear any noise. Also, I'm not detail the car. I'm not washing any car in the outside. I'm not putting any dirt, any junk in the side of the building. I'm the very organized person and the clean person. Also, the labor ocean come into my shop. He told me, says, Nick, I'm never ever see like this the shop. I have to burn the 2-minute restaurant. The people, you have to see your shop. I can't believe that this is the mechanic shop.
Yes, sir. All right,
So,
I've got a call if you don't
Well, and
mind.
Mayor, just for the record, that is the applicant, Mr.
I
Nick.
understand who he is,
Okay.
yes. Mr. Hamilton, let me go, Mr. Insulaco, and I'll come back, okay, Mr. Insulaco? If you don't mind, just stay right where you are if you don't
Yes,
mind. Mr. Insulaco?
Yes. Can you please tell us what services at the new location do you plan doing that are not being done at the current one?
Okay, I'm doing the normal regular tune-up, and the brake, and the transmission service, and that's all. I don't have any tire. I'm not doing the tire job. I'm not doing the body work, not the pan, just the normal regular basic service. I'm working the expensive. I'm working on the European cars. Okay, I'm working the Bentley, Ferrari, Maserati, BMW, Range Rover, all the handwork car. I'm not using any machine, anything. This is the expensive car, only they work in the special tools for the handwork.
Mr. Hamilton?
Mr. Blankenship,
Yes.
the church, as I've discussed with Mr. House, believes this is an expansion of his activities, that that we need the zoning change because this is additional and more impactful activities that will be going on there. He specifically mentioned the hydraulic tower or tire bolt and the hydraulic lifts. I'm hearing that that's not happening, but the church says that it will happen. Could you explain that discrepancy to me?
Yes, this is a mischaracterization of what the plan is here. Right now, Mr. Kushkaya rents the building that he works at and that he's been using for 21 years. It's not an expansion, it's a relocation. This also answers the previous question. There are no services, additional services that he's looking to expand and offer at his new location. It's the same existing services that he offers now. He just wants to own his own building on the piece of land that he bought and he purchased.
You address the runoff issue.
So as for the runoff issue, it's never been a problem. He has somebody that comes and picks up the waste from the vehicles, you know, about 3 or 4 times a year. And, you know, it's puzzling to me that the runoff issue is being brought up, you know, because the church has a much bigger parking lot and is at a higher level than Mr. Koshkaya's business. When that parking lot is full, when they have service, it's got all these cars in it. And if there's any kind of waste runoff, I would argue that the church's parking lot is a much more major contributing factor to that than Mr. Koshkaya's business.
Any more questions?
So I have one more
Yes,
for
sir.
our planning department.
Sean?
Exactly why? Is it simply the address, that he's doing his, I mean, next to it,
You got it. Thank you. Your question?
So the question is why it's a conditional use?
Why is it conditional use? Why do we need to approve because of that?
So back in around 2005, when we redid the zoning ordinance, conditional uses were added. And so basically, and I can't say it all the way across the board, but anything with an auto-oriented became a conditional use, so we can control outside work on the cars, inside work, runoff, and that kind of stuff. So you know, bank, drive-throughs, restaurants with drive-through, all sort of went towards the conditional use because of the auto-oriented businesses.
Are there current regulations, either state or local, that address like oil runoff? Like,
I would assume so, but I'm not the right guy to answer that question, so. but-
ADEQ.
ADEQ has all
Would-
kinds of,
yeah.
you gotta have those permits. Okay.
Anybody else? Where, Ms. Ross?
No, I want to make an amendment because I never know how a vote's going to go, but this 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. in these people's backyards, in their home, the runoff is where I'm concerned about, is the runoff into their backyard because it is a hill. And Sean, did they have to do a hillside cut, or they have to do a hillside cut ordinance for that, or what are, I know that there's been all kinds of.
They did a fill with the wall back there, and that wall will have to, you know, the city engineer's office will have to approve
The
the
wall and
construction of it
everything.
and everything, as tip on with any wall.
Okay.
But that would be about the only thing that we would have to be
Okay.
checking into.
But as far as the time, I don't know what time would be a good time, but I wouldn't want this behind my house at 6 a.m.
Any more questions from the council?
Did you
Well,
make
she
an
wants,
amendment?
she's
Hang on,
thinking
I-
about an amendment.
I know. Well, you still want to make the amendment, or you want to make it after his questions?
After your question.
Go ahead, Mr. Baxter.
Well, this is for the Ward 1 folks here. I know at times, you know, residents don't necessarily reach out to all the council members, but the council members that represent them. I get that. So my question to you candidly is, you know, what's the ratio of people that responded or reached out to you for and against?
Oh, I didn't have any for residential. And I can say something too, as to the petition with 20 people on there. Some of those were businesses on JFK. There was one on Lookout at the other end, and the others were not in this area. They're on the other side of the shopping center. So there's no, I mean, they're not even close to them. Like, you know, some of them were like a mile away, 0.8 miles away on that petition. There was one, like I said, in Lookoff, which is at the top of Lookoff.
Mr. Hamilton?
I received one letter from Mr. House, and it very emphatically said that the church, all of them are opposed. And I got many of the members of the church who were opposed. No one from behind there. Now, most people know Councilmember Ross better than I do. She always will receive probably the first call. No one has reached out to me opposing it from the neighborhood. I called the neighbor, who is, we all know, Thomas Engineering, and they said they weren't going to take a position one way or the other. I know the church is opposed, and I would agree with Councilmember Ross that 6 a.m. is too early and 8 p.m. is too late.
So back to the original, do you want to make an amendment to this?
I
or
do
not?
want to make amendment. I don't know the time. All I know, if anyone wants to make a suggestion, I mean, what are your current hours right now?
What hours do you currently operate?
Okay. My shop open the morning 8:30. I close in the summertime and the 5 o'clock. And the winter time, I open the shop. Shop is open 9 o'clock and it close to 4 p.m. And the Monday to Friday. So the Friday and the half day and the late 1 o'clock, shop is closed. Saturday, Sunday, always closed. The holiday is closed.
Okay.
Okay, so I have my hours that I'd like to make it. I'd like to amend the hours from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
There's an amendment on the floor, Mr. Harris?
I was just gonna
There's an amendment. Is there,
I know, he had his hand
procedurally, is
up
there a
first off.
second of the
I got it.
amendment?
Second.
We can get this out of the way.
All
and
right,
I'll
there's an
make my
amendment
comment.
on the floor, there's a second by Ms. Robinson.
I'd like to discuss.
Okay, and
We-
then there's a discussion
And
on
now
the
there's
amendment.
discussion.
I think there needs to be a little more wiggle room than that. I could
He just said
see,
he was doing now.
I understand, but I think that we could do instead of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., we could do an 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that would at least be,
I'm fine with that.
So you want to amend your amendment?
So 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
Sure.
Okay.
But
Now on the
that's
floor, there's
Monday
8
through
a.m. to 6
Saturday,
p.m.
closed
Monday
on
through
Sunday.
Saturday.
Monday through Saturday. I
Okay.
can agree with that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank y'all. There's a motion.
Okay.
Now back to it, Mr. Harris.
So, just so y'all know, normally if a council member sponsors something and it's going on and there's a lively debate on that issue, my advice is to postpone the vote one time. I'm just letting you know. That's just,
Doesn't get a choice.
that would,
And Mr. Harris, the issue on the table right now is Councilmember Ross's amendment, and so that will need to come back up
So-
after we deal with the amendment.
Well, now
Okay.
there's an amendment on the floor to make it from 8.
Whatever Nathan said.
8 to 6,
8
6
to
days a
6.
week, Sundays closed.
All right, did you hear that? You got that, Diane? Miss
sir.
Amy?
Yes.
Miss Hart? I'm just looking for a second right now and go for the amendment. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, discussion now is on the amendment.
That's all I want to do is there's an amendment. So there's an amendment on the floor.
Okay, and Ms. Hart has something.
I just wanted a point of clarification. So that timing is they're only allowed to be open during the
Correct.
times? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to-
There's an amendment on the floor, please.
On the amendment, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Okay. Well, amendment has been passed, so now where are we, Ms. Ross?
And one more question on here, because in the legislation, it says tire repair. On this, do you do any tire repair?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
You wanna
I'm
do
not doing the
another
tire.
amendment?
I'll do another amendment and amend that out.
So a motion to amend to exclude the flat tire repairs, is there a second? For
You're
that
doing very good
amendment?
tonight. You're doing really good.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I'm just
I,
trying to.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second on the amendment.
Where is the tire repair? I'm trying to find it.
Number
It's on
three.
three.
Number three.
Number
It
3.
says flat tire repair.
Brake repairs, flat tire repair, air conditioning service. It's on number 3.
Okay, got it.
On the amendment, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart? Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
One more question.
Ms. Ross?
Do you use any pneumatic tools? Do you use any pneumatic tools?
No, ma'am.
Powered.
No, ma'am.
None?
No,
None
no,
for your?
no air tools. I'm using the electric power tools. You can hear nothing. Just the bzzz, that's all. Just a little bit making noise. Either I'm taking the tire, changing the tire. I'm using the electric tools. I have all the tools, the special the tools. I'm not using heavy tools, anything.
Where are we?
Still
Anybody
have
else?
discussion on the whole
Is there
thing.
still discussion on the amendment? I think we've already passed it.
We've already voted on the amendment.
We already voted on it, so.
If there's no more amendments, then we need a motion and a second on the ordinance
on the
as amended.
Has it been suspended?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Fields.
Move to adopt as amended to get it on the floor.
Motion to adopt as amended. Do I hear a second? Ms. Harder, second.
Any discussion?
So do I talk now?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Harris.
A lot of things come before the city council, and we don't necessarily have the time or, to go look at everything actually. And I'm just suggesting that my own personal opinion is I'd like to go put my eye on it myself and see these neighbors, see this church, see this, and apologize that I didn't do that already. Call it winter snow, call it whatever it is, I don't know. But I'm just saying, if I was the council member in charge of this in your area or whatever it is, I would advise you to postpone. That's just me talking. But.
And as a procedural matter,
yeah.
Councilmember Harris, that would be up to Mayor Hartwick because he's the sponsor,
I got it.
even if the applicant.
And I'm doing it for
requested that.
consideration on it. So right now, Mr. Scott Fowler.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a geography question, please. The distance between your business now, sir, and the church versus the distance of your proposed new location to the church. In other words, what is the difference in distance between your current location in the church and your proposed new location in the church?
Okay, actually, the both of them. The new location, this is the line. So this is all the way the side to church. This is for the wood area. This is all in the church. Okay, the engineer, Mr. Aaron, the bond engineer called me. Says, Nick, the church, somebody called me. He's selling his land. I says, and he told me, hey, I'm not the real estate, so I guess you have to talk to see what's going on. So I called the church. I speak to somebody. Actually, I asked whom I'm speaking. He give me the name anyway. So I speak to him. She's trying to. He says, I'm selling all the property, and then you want to buy. I said, I'm not buying this property because it's not work anything. It's not nothing to do this property. This is the location. I'm trying to put in the building. I'm just calling to see what's going on. The problem. And then he told me, he says, I have only the access the lot and the look up. This is for the lot.
Okay.
So this is the reason she says, you want to sell this land, we have to get the city to talk, put it together in the same land. We sell it at the same time, your and our land, and they sell the same time, they maybe make you sell the land. He told me.
I see.
Sir, I've got to get this thing going, if you don't mind. So is there any more discussion by the council members? Is there any more discussion by the council members? You got 1 minute, please.
Oh, I just wanted to address your question because
Thank you.
so I could answer it. The proposal for the new building is further away from the church than it is now. Right now, the building is right there along JFK.
Yes.
The new building that's being proposed is actually going to be further away.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
I got one other.
All right, Mr.
So
Harris.
I'm looking at these elevations. So the back of this lot just kind of goes down, right?
That's correct.
You're doing fill in the front, and then that's it, and then it just goes pretty steep to the back, right?
Yes, sir. I have to actually speak behind the neighbor. So I'm gonna ask. I can't put in the wall. It looks like the wood or something, the metal. You can't see anything because I'm not putting anything behind the shop. My shop have to be front. I'm not close to back the neighbor. So he says you have to leave the light there. I'm not doing anything. He says you can put in something. I'm not seeing anything for the other side. I can put in the fence.
My assumption would be you'd probably leave as many trees back there as you wouldn't take them all down, I
No.
wouldn't think.
No.
You don't leave,
Anybody else?
okay.
Any more discussion?
I just want to say one thing before we vote, because I think we're voting tonight, is I believe there are regulations in place adequately that take care of runoff issues. There are so many regulations about this. He's been operating 100 feet away for 20 years. And I just,
Thank you.
I'll be voting for it because it's actually further away from the church. And he's not going to be using any loud noises, anything additional. I understand that. And it's zoned for, I mean, worse things could go in there right now. I think a Hardee's could operate out of that right now.
So any more discussion? Ms. Ross?
And one more thing I'll say, because I will be voting against it because I'm here to represent the people in those neighborhoods, and I have heard from them. I've reached out to some of them even because they didn't even know anything about it, and they have been to these meetings to oppose it in the past. They were not able to come tonight.
Ms. Fields, if there's no more discussion, I want the people here to understand that if it goes down, what your process is. And if it goes forward, I want to know what your process is. Ms. Fields?
Now, if your application is denied tonight, you can't reapply for a year.
So I want to make sure they understand it because, so let's make sure. Anybody else? If not, I'm going to ask for a vote on the amendments as.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I do have another question, sir, but I believe it's for the church's council,
Say that again?
their representation.
Mr. House? Doug?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
I was provided a copy of this prior to taking this position of your letter. It's my understanding that the church owns some of that green belt outside of that between the two.
Yes, sir. The church owns approximately an acre that's more along JFK, and it does, looking at that picture to the right-hand side is to the east. We
Okay.
own back towards the east a little bit.
Okay.
Got about an acre in there.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And can I correct one misstatement?
Go ahead, Doug.
The runoff we're talking about is not oil, it's water. Their own engineering plans show a settled pond down there in the basin. You're talking about a mosquito pond right behind those people's house. That's what's in their engineering documents submitted to the City Planning Commission. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Where are we, Ms. Whitby?
It's time for a vote.
I think so too. Make sure. All right, call it.
All right. Ross?
No.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart? You pass? Okay. No. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
I was just thinking, because it was brought to me, I was under the impression we wouldn't be voting tonight, so I'm gonna say yes just based on the arguments tonight, but, so yeah.
Hart in the affirmative. Robinson?
No.
Baxter?
No.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
No.
Insulaco?
No.
Motion
Not-
fails.
Yeah, fails.
Do you understand, everybody, what happened? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, we'll go on to,
That concludes new business, sir.
that concludes the business. Thank you. Let me also bring up, we have public comment tonight. I have one person signed up, Ms. Hattie Temple. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hattie Temple. I live at 1726 North Locust, and I have a complaint tonight. I have been calling the city trying to get them to put my light up outside my house in the projects. I stay right across the street from the store, and when you come through that fence, it's completely dark over there. I have no light to see outside my back door. anything can happen. They shoot out there all the time and go on. I'm asking the mayor to please make the city come and put the light up because the line where the light is city property. They done put the lights up in the parking lot for me, but my house is on the other side of the parking lot. But when you come through the gate by the store, it's completely dark over there at night. So I need some.
Brian, will you take a look at that for me? Get with me tomorrow, please?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hattie. Anybody else? If not, all right, let me go ahead and tell everybody that we have a holiday coming up, right?
Yes.
We have Martin Luther King holiday will be observed, and I guess garbage pickup and trash pickup will be delayed one day. Any council members have anything, comments?
Trash, if you just kind of
Well, I just said, trash comments will be delayed one day. Anybody else? Miss comments, anybody?
Some of.
Second. Motion, second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Robinson?
Thank you.
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
And Sulaco?
Yeah, but it's just still.
You need me, Miss Hattie? All right, got you.